I was talking to a client of mine a while back. They sent me on one of these T-Bosia training courses and the Hewitt underwater escape training, and then they sent me off to the various facilities. And I remember after talking at their gas hub, we were going to head off to one of their off-site oil rigs, and we were trucked out to the helipad, and we were waiting for the arrival of the helicopter. And the helicopter was a bit delayed, and the sun was fairly high in the sky. It was approaching midday, but it wasn't summertime as such. It was sort of April, May time. And everyone sort of piled out of the van and started chatting socially. And I looked up at this sun, and I started feeling quite uncomfortable, and I spoke to the driver of the van. I said, look, have you folks got any suntan lotion? But every day that I step outdoors, I'm forever looking at the position of the sun and trying to determine how I can face the good side of my body towards the sun. And it's exactly because I have a bad side that I'll never forget the night of the 11th of March, 1994. And instead of driving myself home, I was driven away from the factory. Not home. I wouldn't see home for weeks, and I wouldn't see work for months. And I never got undressed that night. My clothes were physically cut off my body. So Swani Swanepoel, he was the production manager or production superintendent on this particular fertilizer plant. He barges into the control room and blurts out, "Ek het net nou my balles geweeg," and proceeds to explain to us in Afrikaans that he's just weighed his testicles on this special scale that was designed for measuring out platinum catalysts, because he reckoned that he had the biggest balls in the entire department. And he challenged the rest of us to match him. Of course, none of us took up that challenge. Meanwhile, macho Andy Clemo, the project manager, is peering back from this computer screen that he's been looking at and smiling with some satisfaction at the data that's now coming in from this new modified fertilizer plant. Paul George, the project engineer, his moustache is twitching even more jumpily than it normally did. And Beinart, the stocky process superintendent, is looking as confident as ever. And the process was very simple. So all that we did was we started off with a hot molten liquid in a tank, a little head tank or feed tank. And from there it just went through a heated pipeline and to a spray or a shower, much like the showers that we've got at home. So I actually need a volunteer, somebody just help me for 1 minute. Very simple task, and I'll just try and illustrate the process. Anyone? Give me a hand for a second. Yeah, great. Just hold that up there. So that was our sort of head tank, if you can picture that or imagine that. You want to just hold that near the bottom there and connect that to that's the exit of the. Isn't it just the worst? Anything getting stuck? Stuff getting stuck is just the worst. Next thing, I just didn't know where all this pain was coming from. It was absolutely horrendous. It felt like somebody had taken a blowtorch to the side of my face, to the side of my neck, the side of my back, and the side of my arm. And it felt like I was being dragged across some concrete strip behind the back of a vehicle or something like that, as if somebody was clawing at my skin. I could just remember it smelled like burning flesh tinged with a slight smell of ammonia. And I was totally disorientated. I remember my body turned away from the outlet of this pipeline. There was this bright sodium lamp illuminating the area. I just remember seeing that lamp through the steam. I just wanted to get out of there, but I didn't know where to go. And Andy Clemo turned to me and he said, "Bram," he says, "look at my face. How's my face looking?" I was just so bloody angry with myself. I just wished and hoped that it was just some sort of bad dream, and that I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be able to go back up there and do things differently. Unfortunately, it's been a living, waking nightmare that I've lived with for the rest of my life. But when I did lift my eyes, my mood did pick up, because I suddenly noticed my wife and son appeared at the entrance to the ward. And my son actually recognized me in amongst all the wounded blokes there. And he like suddenly ran up to the side of my bed, as he always would when he come into our bedroom in the mornings. A nurse came in with this syringe and this hypodermic needle. I'm telling you, the thing looked like a blooming javelin to me. And she said, don't worry, this won't hurt. You know, she wanted to actually take samples of blood to go and send it for analysis to ensure that we weren't having any infections setting in. So I wanted to just check the bloods. Well, I can tell you something. If I was putting together a darts team, I would not include her on my side. Because it's one of the, I think it was the third time she finally, she went in to the leg, you know, the top of the leg, because she reckoned she couldn't go into her arms because of the bandages and the wounds and all that sort of stuff, and the pipes and the tubes. So she went into our upper inside leg, and it was just black and blue by the time she'd finished with us.